No matter where you fall on the political spectrum, you're not immune to propaganda. And if you think that you're not susceptible, you are actually even more gullible than the rest of us. Here are 5 things that I used to believe that I don't believe anymore. Let me know if your perspective on any of these things that I cover have changed too. And tell me if there's something else that you no longer believe in the comments. I might end up regretting that I just directed people to the comment section because there will be people who think that they're immune to propaganda either because they're not idiots or because they're not American or because they're not stupid Americans. Those are the folks who comment without even watching past this point in the video, sharing their opinions about a conversation that they don't actually know what it's about. Stay with me to the end of the video because the last point is what actually inspired this whole video. Back in 2019, I got the courage to have a mastectomy that I'd put off for 2 years. It was a 9-hour surgery that involved 3 surgeons. I wasn't actually scared of the surgery. What I was scared of were the bills that would come after the surgery because in the States, you have to have the money to have the care that you need. Through my job, I had United Healthcare. I was pre-approved for my surgeries. I prepaid my copay. I had already reached my deductible for the year, and all of my doctors, all of my surgeons, they were in network. But I was still afraid of how much things would cost me. The surgery, it was estimated to cost just over $600,000. And with my medical plan, I was actually responsible for a little more than $600 of that. But in the States, you don't get all of the costs for the services up front. And you think that that number I just mentioned covered all the cost, but it doesn't. We actually find out later what the actual costs are. And it's always a surprise. You can try to avoid some of the costs, but for the most part, you just brace for the bills that you won't know are coming until actually after they've already arrived. So I didn't actually know how much I was going to pay for this surgery. All I knew is that I would end up paying a lot. Again, it was a 9-hour surgery. I went home same day, and that saved me a lot of money on that surgery and then the follow-up reconstruction surgery that I had a few months later. During that year that followed those surgeries, I received so many bills. That process takes a while because what happens is the hospitals and the doctors, they send it to your insurance before it actually reaches to you. In the end, the surgery cost almost $700,000, and several thousand of that came from my pocket. All of the bills that came post surgery were denied by my insurance. Looking back, getting a bill on the back end for an anesthesiologist is crazy. With how complicated my procedure was and knowing that it could take as long as 12 hours, why wasn't that time and medicine billed on the front end and then refunded if it wasn't used? The expected cost should be determined prior to the procedure. It wasn't a surprise, oh, the surgery is going to take 9 hours. No, the surgery was supposed to take up to 12 hours. Do they bill it that way because they want to make sure that they get insurance approval, or is it because they didn't want me to shop around for different hospitals? So many bills came after I couldn't walk away. I was able to dispute some of them, but I paid for a lot more than I was able to dispute. Keep your head down, work hard, and you'll make it. I wanted this to be true so bad, but it's not. People born with certain advantages have easier access to the things that are needed to achieve success. They have resources, networks, opportunities. Because no matter how hard I try, I would never be able to convince a government to let me buy their national park so I can turn it into an island resort. I'm certain that a lot of you have heard the phrase work smart, not hard. Before I was laid off, I worked smart as hell, but I also had to work hard. I lived for my days off, even though technically I was never off. Whether it was hard work or smart work, neither lifts you up. They just keep you afloat. Connections are what actually lift you up. Having the right name lifts you up. Knowing the right people in the right room, that's the ladder. Work hard and you'll be fine. Sounds nice. And you believe it because once you're broke and tired, you have no one to blame but yourself. That way you won't blame the people at the top. Which brings me to how we get fed all of this. I grew up during a time when the news felt really balanced. Back then, the fairness doctrine required broadcast networks to present fair and balanced coverage of controversial issues of interest to their communities. It was repealed in 1987, though, thanks to Ronald Reagan. Your legacy is going so strong. Now, news runs on nothing but clicks, no matter where you get it. A story that makes you scared or mad gets more clicks than one that's just calm and true. So, guess which one gets pushed to the top of the algorithm? It's the news that negatively impacts your mental health, the news that makes you doom scroll. It's like they're making you addicted to your own suffering. News titles have to trigger fight or flight just to get seen. It has to exploit your nervous system. And then you get to the point where you have to avoid news altogether, almost as if it's emotional regulation. But then you feel guilty for not being informed. Or maybe that's just me. Now I do something simple. It takes longer, but it helps. And when something big happens, I go to find the original, not the hot take. Half of these articles reference someone else's article, which references something else. And my goal is to find the original reference. If you've watched my videos before, you probably already know that I partner with Ground News. A few videos ago, I got a comment that Ground News leans in a particular direction. And that's the point. Whichever direction you lean, you will see news stories that you may not have seen otherwise. You can access diverse perspectives, get news from sources you otherwise would have missed. I want to thank Ground News for partnering with me on this video. It's hard to know what information to trust, and that's why I've been using Ground News. Ground News is an app and a website that combines news from all around the world in one place so you can compare coverage. It's your responsibility to actually read the articles and find the original sources. But for every news source, you can see if they have a political bias, how reliable their reporting is, and who owns them. You can see who funds each publication, compare coverage, and think critically about the information that you consume. I used Ground News to help me find the articles and the resources for this video. They're linked in the video description. By comparing headlines and paying attention to the bias of the media outlet, it helps me to see things more clearly. Subscribe to Ground News through my link in the video description to get 40% off of the Vantage subscription, and that's the one that I use to get unlimited access to every feature. Okay, I know this next point is going to get me a lot of comments. For years, I was told that China was the bad guy. They surveil their own people, they have cameras everywhere, they track people through their phones. If you buy their electronics, they're going to spy on you. My iPhone is doing that. Siri is listening. And every here and then, I see that green light on my iPhone for no reason at all. I can't prove it, but I'm pretty sure Apple has seen my boobs before and after. Let China spy on me. I don't have any business or intelligence secrets. The most that they're going to get is an unhinged conversation between me and my husband. And they'll probably regret listening in on that 100%. If I'm going to buy devices that are going to listen in and potentially watch, it might as well be a device with technology that I find exciting, all while being reasonably priced. I'm just saying, they're all spying. How long will it be before we see a lawsuit about devices watching people without their knowledge? That should make you rethink using your phone for toilet time entertainment. I used to think that checks and balances were the key to a democracy in the US. Now it's abundantly clear that government is loyal to donors and party. Money controls the party's direction. It's party over duty to the people. Congress, the court, and media have failed to exercise their checks. Everything has dissolved into power politics. Have I lost faith in democracy itself? Yeah, I mean, how can I not when there is a UFC cage on the White House lawn? In the grand scheme of things, it's not something that's actually important. But if we had checks and balances, it wouldn't be there at all. Subscribe and hit all notifications so you see my next video. Now watch this one. I don't know what it is, but I know you'll like it. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.